Hey guys, just an update here on the system. It's all looking really well. We can see our bed here. This is our final bed, and we straddled that bed and we put in the broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower seeds. So we can see there, that's those guys. When we just placed them, hobble up to the next row, place them. That one didn't come up, but that one came up. So that's those species. And I came back and planted a row of cauliflower just because we're doing a bit of videography, so looked good for the camera, looked like I was doing something. And then we see our ground cover of lettuces, row underneath that, coming up really nicely. We have our beans, so our 2 rows of beans that we direct seeded in there, just push the seeds in. And then we have our okra coming up through the center, so that's all looking pretty good. Got little spurts of clover here and there, not too worried about that. Then we got our seedling bed that we planted. So our lettuces and our cabbages and cauliflowers, broccolis, so they're all doing really well. Some bok choys as we come back here. Back up at that bed, beautiful. And then we got our bed down here, which is our onions. So we got onions with the understory layer of bok choy. So we can see the onions all through here, and the bok choy is coming up there. So that's all working really well. Come further down and we've got our carrots. We can see all our carrots sprouting up nicely there. So that's our carrots. And then as we get towards the back of the bed, is that beetroot. I don't know if we sowed anything else in here. Maybe we did, because that looks like there's some broccolis on the diagonal in there. That could also be the brassica from the Living Pathway. We've got our tree rows in here, so lemongrass and citronella grass are slow to the party, but kind of expecting that at this time of the year. Same with the arrowroot. So everything's just chilling here. We've got our understory, our wildflower mixes coming up underneath there, so that's all looking pretty good. Everything's just kind of standing still for the moment. Blueberry's got a bit of flowers on them back there. We can see the Living Pathways here, very thick and juicy. And then as we come further down, it's not as thick, and that's because basically this tree here is taking most of the sunlight up until about 1 p.m, which is fine. Just need to prune it down, but at the same time it's probably protecting the crops at the moment from the frost, so I'm in 2 minds about it. Here's another tree row, so the understory is just developing. I did cut the bananas back, so that's all just coming up. Still got to finish off planting. Right, we'll go down to the other side. You can see this tree row, it gets, a lot more sun. Just boom, that's the sunrise right there. So this whole patch is just booming. But we can see the flower mixes are coming up under there beautifully. Everything else is still at a standstill. This banana's coming out a little bit, but you can see that it's getting a bit cold for these guys. I'm not too stressed about any of that. The arrowroot's just hanging out down here, waiting for his chance. The macadamia's going pretty good. Everything's just at a standstill, just relaxing, getting ready for that heat to bounce back up. But you can see the beautiful flowers under there, so that's really nice. And blueberries loving the cold. Cool. Compost has dropped down quite a bit. I don't got my thermometer in there today, but this is holding at about 50 degrees and I haven't even turned it, so I'm actually really happy with that. A bit lazy, but if we dig in there and have a look. So for not turning it, it's looking pretty good. Sounding good, feeling good. So that's all doing its thing. Probably end up leaving that for a long time and turning it into a seedling mix. Obviously I've got other compost to use in a field. So we come through in our worm bed. No matter where we scratch in, we can scratch in here. And we're going to get some worms. Right there. Worm there. Worm just ducked back in there. So this sheet, whoa. All through this entire sheet compost, and it's darking a nice dark colour now. Bananas are getting real dark. Everything's getting real dark, and if I actually try and get down to the soil level, it's just butter down there. Absolute butter. That's our soil level. You can only see a worm right there. So it's just absolutely covered in worms. There's a worm right there on the sidewall. Anywhere I dig along here, there's just worms littered through it. So that's our sheet composting method, or worm bed. So now it's actually ready to plant into and look completely weed free. So we can actually plant our seedlings or seeds. I'd probably be more inclined to plant seedlings, it's so active. But we can plant those in there now too. And we come up the back, and this is our cover crop plot with our highland biomass production forest. So the cover crop's doing really well. The native gingers are a bit upset about the cold, but we're expecting they all bounce back when it comes down to spring. We can see our ground cover layer is doing really, really well through here. So it's really taking that understory, giving us some green mulch. So that's our windbreak sun trap owl, and that's looking really good. Really developing nicely. Gonna hold the space, fertilise the ground, and it's done a really good job.